Yes, we're going to talk about that. So, first of all, the amazing, illustrious Andrea Kane. She is a Pilates teacher, a health coach, a wellness coach, a take no bullshit coach. Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's the best one. So let's see. Let's give a little background. So I love to tell how I met folks and how I got so motivated and inspired by them. We're part of Black Girl Pilates, and so we're all in this group, and every one of us connects and networks and stuff. So Andrea's going to go on a trip. She was possibly going on a trip to France with me, right? One of my retreats that I did with Bianca. So here she is. We're supposed to be having like a 5-minute conversation. We might have been on the phone for 90 minutes. I think it was a long time that we were.
Yeah, I was going to get my lashes did. Yeah.
Yes. And I wound up being in the car with you on the way because you were like, I got another 45 minutes, I'll have to get done. Then I got in the car with you.
Right. Good memory. Oh my God. That's right. That's right.
I cannot forget because you and I spoke about some really good stuff. One thing I appreciate about you is your first of all, you're smart as hell.
Thank you.
And you're honest. And you stand in your truth and your honesty. And I love that about you. You're just badass.
Thank you. Thank you.
People throw that around, but I don't think everybody deserves that title of badass. And I'll be honest, on this show, I've had nothing but badasses, so I'm including you in that because not everybody can. Some people just say it, other people live it. And I think you live it. Well, so,
I try. Yeah, I try. Yeah. Mainly also because I have like bad memory. So, you got to be honest when you can't remember.
Because you can't, right? Because you can't keep your lives straight. So,
exactly.
So forget all that. Just be honest. Yes. Yes. So before we get started, just to give you all because you can't put Andrea in the box. So let me just tell you that. But just to give everybody a little something, I got this from one of your posts because I always read your posts and stuff.
Oh, Lord.
But I got this from one of your posts and we can kind of roll from here. Oh, so here's some snippets from a post. I know, don't be scared.
I know, I was like, who knows what mood I was in that day? Let's see.
All right. How does personal change happen? Stop believing your own bullshit.
That's true.
Get real with yourself about what you actually want. So mind you, everybody, I'm just reading some snippets. Learn about mindset. And that was big because I'm always talking about mindset. And then here's the other one. It's not a short-term goal. It's from now until death.
Yep.
Think that way and it transforms your goals.
It does.
That resonated with me. I'm preaching that all the time. People don't always accept it. I know people go to other folks because they're like, well, I need that quick fix and you're not trying to give it to me. And I'm like,
you'll be back.
Yeah, you'll be back when you've lost 50 pounds in 2 weeks and then you gain 60 back. And now you've got heart problems and this and this and this. And I'm like, hey,
they're going, what happened though? Because my girlfriend did. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not your girlfriend.
Yep.
And how's your girlfriend feeling?
Yep. And you don't know. Nobody knows anybody.
No. So let's talk about that because that to me truly represents who you are as a coach. Because yes, Pilates teacher and instructor. Yes. But in the midst of all the teaching, you're still coaching. And then you have the coaching business. So let's talk about that part first. Your coaching, your wellness coaching, all that. Let's get to that. I'm gonna sit back.
Because that was my transformation was, well, how old is my son? 15. So we'll say 16 years. I claimed I was trying to be healthy, and even all those words we use, right? I'm trying. I'm going to. You just do. It's like Yoda. There is no try, you just simply do. But most of us try, and then we say, oh, well, I tried that, that didn't work. And in reality, you know, that was like 2 days or a half hour that you gave to the investment in yourself, because that's how you have to turn that around. I mean, it's not, you're not doing it for somebody else, you're doing it for you. And finally, after all this nonsense of saying, oh, I've been trying, but not really.
Right.
April 14th of this year, I no longer tried. I said, this is from now until death. What am I going to do from now until death? And at that time, I weighed 187. This is just April 14th of this year. So far, yes, 2 days ago when I weighed myself, I've lost 47 pounds, because it wasn't about, well, I'm trying to get some summer body. Well, I'm trying to just lose these 10 pounds. I was grossly overweight. I have an autoimmune disorder. I can either increase the amount of drugs, because, you know, the doctors will do that. Yeah, they'll give me more drugs, but that doesn't change the situation. Or I can change my mindset, and that costs me nothing. So I changed my mindset, and it really was this: what do I want to be? What do I want to look like? What do I want to show from now until death? And it's been surprising to me, because I've worked the last 2 and change years. You know, I got a coach 2 years ago, 18. It's the most money I've ever spent on myself in a way that I can't go see, like something tangible, supposedly.
Right.
But it is tangible, because
yes, it is.
It's here, and it's the way I present in the world. And so all of that also is the mindset, because we go, well, you know, I just spent $50,000 on this car. Okay, well, yeah, that's tangible. But how is that feeding me? How is that feeding, you know, all those around me? And to have told myself this story that, well, my parents were fat, my family is fat, so I'm going to be fat, and they've got heart disease, and they've got cancer, and they've got, you know, we bring all that, right? We claim it, basically.
Yeah,
It's a cop out. Oh,
yeah,
well,
we talk
because
about
they had
that
diabetes.
cycle.
You know,
Yeah.
I got diabetes. It runs in our family. Okay,
No, it
that
doesn't.
doesn't mean you don't have to claim it. That's not your inevitability. It's your inevitability only if you choose it. And I think we either don't learn. I'm going to say we don't learn, because I've had to learn it. I don't think we learn that our life is our life, and we can choose. You know, it's not just like we're floating around and things just will happen to us. My family is big bone. That's right. That's right. Yeah. I'm gonna be big bone too. Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I'm saying, I thought I was big, but, you know, like, I posted a picture of me 3 or 4 years ago, and then me now, and I was like, damn, I look like a linebacker. Why didn't nobody tell me? And I was like, oh, I was big bone. I'm not big bone. Look at these little bones. I'm not. So it's just crazy how it's here.
Yes.
It's all here. So you change that, and you go, is this where you want to be from now until death? Is that the story you just want to keep telling yourself? And that's what I started. I said, if I truly, like, am genetically inclined to be this size, fine. Because I said, well, I'm going to do these few things, and if nothing changes, then my story is correct.
Right.
And within 3 days,
yeah,
the weight just dropped, kept dropping. And I had to decide, you know, in those weeks, like, oh, okay, I guess that's not my story.
And not, yeah, you got to change that narrative. And that's what seems to be hard for a lot of people. You've been fed a narrative, you held on to a narrative, and now you have no choice but to live that narrative. Or so we think.
Or so we think.
And the biggest part for you is, you mentioned an autoimmune disease. So you and I, we've had discussions about arthritis.
Yeah. It's been 10 years this month, actually. Um, and it's funny, as much pain as this, I have rheumatoid arthritis. So that's the full body, bone, blood, ligament, organs. It affects everything. It's an inflammatory arthritis. I'm thankful for it because I would have never, even though I've been in health and fitness and wellness for like, whatever, almost 30 years, you only know what you know as it affects you.
Right. Right.
I've worked with people all up and down the ability spectrum and all that, but that's not me. But when stuff starts to affect you personally, you get perspective, you get insight, and I had to decide how much of what I know I was going to apply to my own life.
Yeah.
And it's been real funny. Not ha-ha funny, but yeah, ha-ha funny, because I'm grateful I have the knowledge, because a lot of this I've had to go to a third party, but a lot of this I'm able to do on my own. And even going to the doctors, I went plant-based, and for me, that I say I'm 90-10. So if I want some seafood, if I want a little piece of meat, then I'm going to have it. There's no like shaming or like, oh my God, girl, you said you was vegan. Why are you eating that meat? Whatever. That's my 10%.
Because I want it.
Yeah, I want it. So,
yeah.
Boop. But it's funny because if you go to doctors, and everybody goes to doctors assuming that a doctor knows everything about nutrition, and well, they don't. They know what they
don't. That's
know.
not what they studied.
And actually, they study maybe 20 to 30 hours out of their whole, 7 years of training, 7+ years of training. And again, right, it comes back to, you generally only know what you know when it affects you.
Right.
So they don't know much more than, say, your regular person on the street, unless they're living it, it affects them. And,
yeah.
It's so this last time I had to see my doctor for my physical, and by then I had lost 40 pounds, right? So they were like, they had me go get blood tests. They were like, well, let's just make sure you don't have a tumor or like some.
You're like, I'm plant-based, like I'm treating my body. Let me just, I'm sorry. I knew in this conversation you'd be like, because you say so many things. I'm like, yes, why is she speaking from my heart? Stop speaking from my heart. But one thing is like, people always, when we start to, I tell people, it's not about the aesthetic, it's how you treat yourself. So you decided to give your body, to fuel your body, to give your body nutrients. You decided to do that. So that takes a whole shift anyway. So what happens, what you see now on you is the result of
the side effect.
It's and by the way, so how is your arthritis? How do you feel?
So as long as I stay, funny you asked me that, because I had just, as long as I stay not even just plant-based, for me, because it's inflammatory, and I've lost the weight so quickly, that was also a factor. I really have to stay pretty stringent.
Yeah.
Because if I tip over, and by tip over, I mean like, what was I doing? Like if I eat out too much, even if it's plant-based, I don't know what all
there's still all those preservatives and stuff,
oil or whatever they're doing. Because for me, I had to go, so no alcohol, no dairy, no
that part.
Cow dairy, no, let me see, no alcohol, no oil, minimal salt.
Not even avocado? Not even avocado oil or?
So the oil part was just, now I've incorporated some oil, but in the beginning I got rid of all that. It was literally just grains and plants and fruit, because
Oh,
you know, people go, oh, you need the oil for to lube the joints. And it's like, that's not how that works, really. It's not like some, you know, fuel injected into my joints that all of a sudden, it's not how that works. But I needed to remove everything because, you know, we don't know everything that inflames the body. So I had to go just zero out. And so gradually over the last couple of months, I've added in, you know, a little bit of oil here and there, but primarily I use way less salt than probably most
well,
people,
yeah.
way less oil. I eat, you know, I eat avocado. The oil I use actually now that I like is the toasted sesame oil.
And you know what's funny? That one I had to stop because my left knee would swell. So it's so interesting because that's what we said. Everybody's so different.
Different, yeah.
So you're
And
right. You
people
do
like
have
to
to
talk in this
remove.
grand universal, and it's
Right.
not. It isn't. I can't say to somebody, I can say to somebody, plant-based will work for you. But now we have to individualize and customize what that is for you. Because for you, plant-based may mean you're going to eat your fish and you're going to have maybe some, you know, because your body can handle it. It really comes back around to getting in touch with your individual body and listening to your body. And we see that in our, you know, in our yoga and our Pilates business and practice. It is difficult for, I think, a good majority of us to be in our body and then to feel and to hear what our bodies are telling us, because I don't know, we have a lifetime of just being disconnected for whatever reason, you know,
Right.
whether childhood traumas, adult traumas, whatever, there's some trauma that, you know, you're disconnected, you know, like when you're working with people and you're like, breathe, and they're like, oh, I didn't even realize I was
Yeah.
holding my
Yeah.
breath,
Exactly.
you know. And so now you're saying, okay, when's the last time you were actually hungry? And then you have to find that, like, oh,
Mhm.
I wasn't hungry, I was bored. So it's those steps, you have to start there. Like, be hungry. You're not going to die. If you don't eat for a day, you're not going to die. Like, calm down. Be hungry, because you will then feel, you will hear what your body is. And then you can say, oh, yeah, I was actually hungry. Like, I can hear, okay, yeah, no, I've never been hungry. I've been bored. You know, there's a difference. And I think connecting to that's where that power is. Because
Yes.
until you connect to what your body is telling you, you really can't make a change. So that's why we get people who are like, oh, let's do this 8-week, you know, nonsense. Okay, fine. But what are you learning? What have you learned so that at the end of that 8 weeks, you're
Nuggets,
not
girl.
just going back to where you were at day one, week one, you know? So that's why I was said to myself, no, this is from now until death, because that short-term thinking only gets you short-term results, and it inevitably returns you back to where you started.
Mm-hmm. It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah, and well, we all have to have that jump off point. Like you said, you got rid of everything and then slowly started adding some stuff in to see what works. We obviously have to have the jump off, but everyone has to understand that jump off is the start of the marathon.
Yeah. And you
It's
may
not
go back.
the
Like
thing.
last week, I was like, oh, I could have coffee. And no, I woke up last night, I had a migraine. So I was like, oh, no coffee. But you know, you have
Yeah,
to see.
yeah.
You have to see, because I got like a week of coffee. So I was like, oh, yay. But coffee doesn't like me. Coffee will trigger my migraines. So that's what I mean. And that was the other thing I gave up. I forgot that, caffeine, because
Yeah.
I get migraines. So,
Caffeine
you
does
know,
something to people, though.
it does. And I mean, thankfully I
It's
have my
different
medicine. I'm
people.
not anti-medicine. Thank God I've got my migraine medicine, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't needing my migraine medicine when I wasn't having caffeine. So, you know,
Yeah.
you can, and that's an individual choice. Some people are like, well, I've got this pill, so I can do this thing. And like, that's a choice. I'd rather than if not have the pill and not do the thing. you know, that, you know, and then if I can do, maybe I can have coffee twice a week, maybe, and get away. You know, I'm still trying to get my coffee because I don't drink, you know, so I'm like, God, I gotta have something. Look at it.
You know what's so funny? I'm the opposite. I'm like, okay, because I gave up coffee.
Just
July 24th this year, cold turkey.
Okay.
That's how deep I was into coffee. Had to have it. But for me, it was something else. Like I'm naturally dealing with depression. So caffeine is a trigger. But once again, we're talking about the mind. The mind, with the migraines with caffeine and this and that. But I just can't. I'm just like, nope, not going to do it. But my wine, I'm trying.
See?
I'm so trying. But you know what my excuse is? I'm like, it's a grape.
Shut up.
It's fermented. You know, fermented stuff is good.
It's a probiotic.
It's good.
I like that. I'll use that one. Yeah, that's how I tell my girlfriend, because she'd be saying, "I can't give up the wine." Be like, "It's a probiotic. It's like kombucha."
It's a
probiotic. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a journey, and being able then also to help my clients and also myself. And the main thing I realized is I don't argue anymore. Like, you know, I used to try to make people see. No.
I love that.
I say now, I read this middle management book. It's the 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey. And it was just willy-nilly. I don't even know when I bought it, if I bought it, where it came from. I don't know. I keep saying the universe put it in my book, in my bookshelf, because I have no memory of why I would have ever bought this book. And it's like a 90-odd page, not much. But the gist of it is how we, as people, take on other people's problems. Then we get mad that now we're bogged down with all this stuff, not realizing that we took it on, you know? So the gist of it was, you know, this manager, his employees would come in and they'd say, "Oh, we've got a problem." And he'd say, "Oh, leave it on my desk. I'll take care of it." And now he's got all these things on his desk. And one day he's coming in on Saturday. He looks out the window. And now, mind you, he's the manager. And there's his employees playing golf. And he's the one on a Saturday sitting here doing work. And he was like, "This is not, no, I'm giving all this back." So Monday, he gave all the monkeys back to their individual owners. And this book came right before my daughter came to live with us here a couple months ago with her baby. Because I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy this for her and this and do all this." She's 21. And so, no, I didn't do anything, but I've put it into every aspect of my life. When I hear the conversation in my head where I'm solving somebody else's problem, I just go, "Not my monkey." And you go, "What? No, not my monkey. I let it, that's not mine. You can figure it out." And in that way also, it has helped me. And it also helps me when I work with other people, because I'm not responsible for your results. I can give you, I can show you the tools. I can share my story, but ultimately you have to do the work. So you can't come back to me and say, "Well, I didn't get blah, blah, blah." Okay, well, what did you do?
Right.
You know, like that meme, you know, you can't be upset with the results from the work that you didn't do. Like, if you don't put in the work, how do you expect?
I didn't expect anything to happen. Right.
And a lot of people do that. They don't, you know, it's funny. People, when they've been asking me, they go, "Oh, how have you lost the weight?" And now I just say, "Do you want to know just for information, or do you want to know because you are interested?" And every time it makes them pause, because then they have to think about it, right? Because and then they go, "Well, what did you, you know, tell me?" And as soon as I say no alcohol, they'll okay. I say, "Okay," and that's fine, right? Because that's not my monkey.
Yes.
Now, you were telling me you got headaches, you ache, your back hurts, your knees hurt, your feet hurt. All I said was no alcohol, and you already were like,
I know, they don't know what the rest of it is.
Okay. And so where I used to be like, "Oh my God, not my monkey. I let it, it's not mine. And what I found most amazing during this year is how many former clients have touched base with me in some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And I just go, oh, you know, whatever. Good to see you. What do you want to work on? And
Right.
many of them will say, I've been inspired by you because you just keep moving forward and you create the space for yourself. And I said, I do. Because this
Yeah,
isn't
you
a
do.
rehearsal life, right? I'm not going to be 47 and mad about where my life is, because
Mhm.
I choose my life and the things that I do in my life. And that comes back again to the mindset, right? Because I'm not just floating in the wind. We have control. We have control and we are able to make choices. It just depends if we want to make the choice.
Exactly. Exactly. And we do run into those people. It's funny, as a coach, I'm sure that's part of it. It's so funny you say you don't argue. So part of it being a coach, you got, we always think we have to convince people. It's like we can't convince anyone that they want
No,
a healthier life.
no,
We can't convince, and that's not how you run your coaching business.
no, no, or any of my businesses. I don't argue. I don't negotiate. Like that's not what I do. I provide a service. You either want it or you don't. And I always say to people, when you're tired enough, I'll be here. Because what I say to somebody, no, generally nobody chooses me first. I am not anybody's first choice. Do you know what I mean? We're not,
Yeah.
rarely are we somebody's first choice. Most people go, oh, I know what I need to do. I just need to do it. So, okay, well, you go ahead and do it, whatever. I think coaches, trainers, we are generally people's like last resort. Right?
Yeah. Well, the doctor told me I need to do XYZ, so I'm calling you now.
Yeah. And it's always like somehow now I'm defeated, so I'll see you. It's like,
Thanks.
that's not what this is about. This is you aren't able to do a thing, and so you're getting help. That's not defeat. That's, again, that's choosing you. That's investing in you. That's you staying true to the goal that you're claiming. And you understand that you can't see, and so you need help clearing out the trees so that you can see. But generally speaking, yeah, we're very rarely am I the first choice. I'm not a first choice. I'm a last resort, and I'm absolutely fine being the last.
Right.
But once they get here, I'm not like convincing you, and I don't want to hear about what your friend Susie did, and I don't want to hear about, well, I read this article and it said, okay, well,
Yeah. Unless you were interviewed for the actual article, that article is not about you specifically.
yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm not here to argue. I don't want to argue. I don't want to hear about any of that. So you either have Googled me enough, or you follow me enough, or you asked your friend who works with me, and if you haven't, yeah, I'm not here to convince, cajole. That's not my job. None of those are part of what I do. Like, I'm here to help. I'm
Yes.
here to serve, and I take that on gladly. But what I don't take on is everybody's personal shenanigans.
I know. You are not for the bullshit.
None of it.
Say,
And
what did I read
especially
before?
this year.
How does personal change happen? Stop believing your own bullshit.
That's the
That's what
personal
you wrote.
stories that
That's
we
what
tell
you wrote.
ourselves. Like we'll say, again, it's going back like, well, I'm this way, and so that's just the way it is. It was funny. Somebody was writing something during the protests and was just kind of using the universal Black people, which always bothers me. There is no universal.
Because we could have 10 people who are close and love each other just amazingly, and we all have different ideas.
And you just can't say. So I really was getting irritated by people going, Black people, whatever. And so all I posted to her was, if you would not use Black people, because I'm Black, but not included in your, you know,
What she just wrote.
her spiral she was going to. And I got the defense answer, you know, the blah, 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 well, if you don't like it. And I was like, okay, thank you. And that's, right.
Wait, not my monkey.
Because, okay, I was just saying, you know, blah, blah, blah. When you use the universal, then you do include everybody, right? When you say Black people, I mean, so you can say I, or I as a Black person, but I just was really getting irritated. And I started to see that in my own story. I would say, oh, well, you know, it's because of this, and this is just the way it is. Well, because I've got RA and I take prednisone, you know, this is why this is, you know, I can't like, and I remember saying that to people. Oh, I take prednisone, so I'm unable to lose weight, you know. And I totally neglected the, you know, the Fridays of having a big ass carne asada for lunch, and then a Domino's pizza for dinner, and then like a lava cake for dessert, and then like a 16-ounce Sprite. And then I'm sitting there like, no, it's the prednisone. That's why, you know, I'm holding on to the, you know what I mean? Like, we're real good at just
justifying
seeing what we want to see.
And
when I say believe in our own bullshit, it's that I'm going to separate.
We just believe our own shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And until you are ready to look at everything, and that's why I keep saying to people, I go, oh no, I was hypocritical. I own it. Yeah, no, I lied. Yeah. I said that to somebody. She was like, she goes, how could you be overweight and tell people to be fit? And I looked at her and I said, no, you're right. It's hypocritical. Yeah, no, I own it.
You weren't being healthy with your body.
Not at all. And that's what started to also happen, is the things I was saying to the people paying me, I actually started to hear. You know, because you know how you're real good at, I can tell you what to do, but oh, no, that doesn't apply.
I'm not taking that advice. Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't apply to me because I have RA. Oh, that doesn't apply to me because, you know, I take prednisone. Oh, that doesn't apply to me because I'm big bone. Oh, that doesn't apply to me because I'm Black. That's lies. No, that's not how that works. It doesn't apply to me because I'm not ready to face my own stuff yet. You know, generally speaking, for me, I was not ready to face my own stuff yet. So I'm real good at telling you. And then that was the other thing. Like, I'm not in the advice business. I'm in the listen and ask question business.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, you have a lot of coaches who give advice. Well, I don't need advice. I want to be heard. Use your experience. Ask me better questions so that I can see from a different lens.
Right.
So all of this has transformed me, the way I do business, the way I interact with people, and the way I live, like, so tremendously. And yeah, being able to say, oh no, I did say that. That was lies and hypocrisy. Yeah.
Own it.
Own it. And I see that's a difficult leap for a lot of people, but you have to, because you said it or you did it. So you have to claim it, right?
Yeah.
And say, oh yeah, no, I that was a lot of BS. No. And from that BS, here's what I've learned. Here's what I can now share with you.
Right.
You know, and because that's the mindset. When the mindset changes, the actions change, and then hopefully your life and the way you live can change. But you can't, I found it difficult to continue to say one thing and do another. That's what started to interrupt me. It was like, oh wait, did I just hear what I said to her? Oh wow, okay. Why don't I start
living a life of that? Yeah, you were living a life of hypocrisy.
For sure.
And that goes into what you were saying before when you were like, oh, I just can't lie because it's hard. I have a bad memory and it's hard to keep up with. But that's still lying to yourself.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And because I would say it to them and then, oh, no. Like I said, no, I've got RA or I take prednisone. No, it doesn't apply to me. But totally just put up a wall of what my behavior. Because, you know, you got people, right, who like work out all day. And then you go, well, I've worked out all day. I can eat this, you know, triple cheeseburger with a double fry. And I mean, you can eat it. I mean,
but it's going to erase. And working out doesn't help you run away from heart disease, inflammation in the body, depression,
All the things.
diabetes, all the different things that can be affected by what we put into our body.
Yeah.
And the stress that we put on ourselves.
Yes. And then what was it last year? Somebody had showed me this article, and it was about being a vegan. And somebody's like, "Oh no, that's white people food. I'm black. We can't eat that. We
And
shouldn't
here,
be expected
well,
to be
let me
vegan."
go into that part. What's so funny about that is growing up, now in Harlem, I knew nothing but a bunch of vegans and vegetarians. And because I was in the African dance world and everybody was always like eating some vegetable something. I'm
Yep.
like, ew, all these. So I never grew up with being vegan is white people stuff. I grew up with, I
This
just
is
thought
what
like,
everybody
I
eats.
mean, obviously I knew black folks that ate ribs too, but because people eat food, but I always knew tons of black folks. And there was this amazing restaurant called Strictly Roots on 7th Ave, but right off of 123rd, between 122nd and 123rd in Harlem.
Oh, okay.
And was it Strictly Roots? It's Roots.
Roots.
Yes, I want to say Strictly Roots. And it was vegan. And that place was
Packed.
packed. And then there was another one on 125th near Watkins. Anyway, but these vegan places were packed out and they were filled with a bunch of black folks. So I'm like, don't tell me that black people don't.
Coming back to that universal black people. No.
And it's like, no. And it's like, yes, there is a rib joint like 3 stores down. And yes, there are black people in that. But guess who's filling up those other ones? It's black people. So don't tell me black people are not
the universal, yes. And I was like, that is not, it is, again, right? Yes. That's believing that story. So you go, no, black people don't eat that.
Yes, we do.
Not true.
Yes, we do.
There is, no, it's not. There's no such thing as white people food and black people food and Spanish food. There's no such thing. It's not like being healthy is white people healthy. No, there's healthy. It's not like this collard green is only for black people. No, collard greens are just collard greens, and they're.
Oh wait, there's a funny story about that. One of my girlfriends was like, "Okay, I guess you can take my black card because I don't like collard greens." So that's why it's like, you can.
There is no.
I was like, "Don't worry, honey. Your card's all wherever the hell you want it to be."
And again, but right, that comes back to the stories that, like, sometimes the stories make us feel better. But you got to confront your story because most of the time the story is not truth. Right. But so many people will hang on to that. And I read that, and that's really, and still obviously sticks with me because I'm like, so many people would rather just go, no. I need my, whatever. You don't need it. You don't need it. I mean, what my dad died at, God, how old was he? Not even 60. We can do better than believing the stories that somehow we are meant to be overweight, eating unhealthy, eating large portions of food that clog our arteries. That's not a story I want to pass down anymore. It isn't. I don't, with my kids, my son, I say to him, I look at him and I go, I don't think any 15-year-old on this earth drinks as much water as my son does. He will eat ice. He drinks water because I just don't buy soda. Right. Because it's not about, people go, well, how do you do that? Well, I don't buy it.
You don't buy it.
That's it. So if he wants it, he can go to a store, but I'm not going to buy it. Because I'm not going to, this is the story I want him to have. I want him to be healthy. So I am in control of that small amount. I'm not going to continue my familial story of, let's eat some, ham hocks and fat back and then be shocked when we have diabetes. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not, I already got issues. I don't need any more health conditions. So the only thing that I can see is how I eat and what I eat. And there's enough information out there now that's pretty neutral. You know, I mean, you can always get something conflicting, but there's enough information out there now that says, at the end of the day, plant-based, more plants than meat. You know, you don't have to be vegan, you don't have to be vegetarian, but more plants, more fruit, more leafy things, more grains is going to be better for your body, better for your health, better for your mind.
Right.
Period. So you can still have, I guess you could have your, you know, a little bit of spare rib, but you don't have to have the whole rack. Right? You can have 2. And since you only get the 2, eat it slow, enjoy it, right?
And then, oh yeah, now see, I bet you people would just have those 2 and enjoy it and actually savor. That's another thing. Savor the food.
Yeah.
Enjoy the food. Taste the food.
The food. And that's the other reason I gave up, and salt and sugar. Because, you know, we start to deaden our tongue. We can't taste. So it's so much easier to eat. You know, what I continue to say to people is, you can have the food. You just can't have all the food. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, you can have the spare ribs, but you don't really, who needs a whole rack of ribs?
They need to be like Chris Rock, be like, how much for 1 rib?
It's fun. That's it. Because you know what I noticed? If I just had, like, we went out to dinner the other day and there were 4 of us. And so we had dessert. We had one, it was a pumpkin cheesecake. We had 4 spoons.
Nice.
And so we didn't go without. We just savored what we had. And, you know, we still didn't end up eating that whole slice. I mean, 4 people. Because we each savored each little spoonful, because who knew if she was going to take one or she might take the last bit. And even when I'm eating alone now, that's what I do. So yeah, you can eat what you want, but you don't have to eat everything. You don't have to eat all of it. And it's funny to me just how little I eat and still survive and do well, and I'm not hungry and I flourish and I have an amazing energy.
Right.
Keeps coming back to believing the story. We have to step away from the story.
Right.
Oh, well, if I don't eat everything on my plate, okay, well, you're not 6 anymore. You don't have to eat everything on your plate.
Yeah, we did that. Parents did that too.
Yeah.
I got in trouble once. It was like
Can't get up from the table.
And kids in Africa are starving. I was like, well, then send them. And then, of course, you know, you get in trouble because it's like, I paid good money for that food. But these are things that are passed down. And, you know, as the generations go on, we learn. Each generation learns more and more, because every generation
then we have to unlearn.
learns. Yeah, every generation learns from the other. And then we have to be able to grow from those things that we've learned.
Yeah. And that was a big part of it, was looking at that and choosing, like, okay, I'm not choosing that one anymore. I'm not choosing that one.
Yeah.
But you don't even get to that point until you have to start questioning, and that's the mindset work. You have to get to the point where you start questioning, why do I act, do, and think the way that I do? Then you see the whole mountain of familial and generational things that you maybe never confronted. And by confront, I just mean looked at, question. Yeah, why do I eat this? Why do I think this about money? Why is there the money food connection? You know, like that. I spent good money on this, so you got to eat all of it. Okay, well, no, you don't have to. You know, separate food from money. It's a whole trickle down effect. You can't just look at one aspect of it, because what starts to happen is you start to question one thing about why you act a certain way, and you start to see it in other, and you go, okay, I'm either going to have to keep confronting this, or I'm just going to ignore it. And that's a choice. And my choice was, okay, I'm just going to keep confronting this, because I need to get to a place where I've worked through all these things, and these aren't going to be barriers to my success anymore.
Oh, we're getting ready to end. That was the perfect way to end. That was the perfect way to end. Yes. You are so powerful. Oh, wait, powerful Andrea. You are so powerful. Oh, honey, I thank you because everybody, she's on the West Coast, so she's not over here. It's 9 o'clock. I mean,
We got
I
up
know that's not
early
early,
on a
but
Sunday.
it's early. She didn't have to get up. She could have still stayed asleep. So I thank you for just
Thank you.
for always being so real. Always being so real, always sharing your truth, and always being open to discussion.
That's how Sally raised me.
Wait, before we go, wait. Do I have it? Oh, here we go. So every time we end, I got to end with an affirmation.
Ooh.
So, but you choose the affirmation. You pick a number between 1 and 10. I have these cards here, and you pick your number.
7.
7 is lovely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th card, your affirmation. Oh, this is perfect. I am joyous.
Yes.
Yes. So the affirmation for the day, is I am joyous. That is perfect.
That is all day, every day.
That is perfect. You don't argue. You don't take nobody's monkeys. You are joyous. Reclaim your joy, honey. Yes. And thank you for being so damn authentically you. That's what makes me love you, honey. Oh, my sister joined. My older sister joined. So, hey, so I just want to say thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Oh, she's happy because Debbie.
Next time you go, though, take me in your suitcase.
I know.
Oh my God! I'm looking. I was like, okay. Thank you so much. Only for you will I get up at 6:30 on a Sunday. I'll just say that. Because I had to get up at 6:30 to like make sure I was awake by 9. Yeah.
I love it. Baby, I love you. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
And everybody, thank you for joining now and those who watch on the replay. Bye.
Bye.
Take care, baby.